The dangers of clicking for likes and follows. We'll tell you why the U.S. Surgeon General is warning parents about early social media use. Plus, new to Freeform, I go inside the series The Watchful Eye with members of the cast. And the rise of artificial intelligence in writing. We'll share how humans are engaging with AI. Welcome to Advocate Today. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. We begin in New York, where asylum seekers are camping out in front of a hotel. They're refusing to leave the Watson Hotel to go to a new shelter at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. Mayor Eric Adams says the city wants to move the single men to the Brooklyn facility to make way for the migrant families at the Midtown facility. However, an attorney for the Legal Aid Society says the men have expressed concerns about commuting for work and sharing a space with a large number of people. A warning for parents from the Surgeon General about social media use for minors. Dr. Vivek Murthy says that 13 years old is too early to join social media. Murthy says data shows a rising trend of mental health issues among youth.
I worry that right now, if you look at the guidelines from the platforms, that age 13 is when kids are technically allowed to use social media. But there are two concerns I have about that. One is, I personally, based on the data I've seen, believe that 13 is too early. And I think that it's a time, early adolescence, where kids are developing their identity, their sense of self. It's a time where it's really important for us to be thoughtful about what's going into how they think about their own self-worth and their relationships. And the skewed and often distorted environment of social media often does a disservice to many of those children. But the other concern I have is that these rules around age are inconsistently implemented.
The new Freeform series, The Watchful Eye, is taking us inside the lives of affluent Manhattanites. It follows Elena Santos as she works with a wealthy family as a live-in nanny. She then discovers that everyone in the building has a dark secret, but she makes a few friends along the way. I spoke with stars Mariel Molino, Alia Royale, and John Michael Ecker about class difference as a central theme of the show, about queer visibility, and more. This show is a bit of a mystery. It's a little bit of a ghost story. It's a heist show, but there's also some social issues embedded in it. And I think that's what really kind of elevates it. And I wanted to go to you, Mariel, and ask you if you would give a little bit of what you can of the backstory to your character, Elena, who is really kind of in the middle of a lot of, these intersections.
Yes, I think that it is, in a way, also the story of the haves and the have-nots, the upstairs, downstairs, that we get to have like this glimpse into this landmark New York City building with the uber rich. And there is something about, wanting to see the demise of these people, dare I say, that is definitely part of Elena's agenda, and I think rightfully so. I think she's a person that's incredibly realistic about life and a bit cynical because of things that have happened to her in her past. And she's looking for justice and she's looking for reparations, which is, I think, a strong theme in the show. But ultimately, I think she starts forming these emotional connections with some of the residents in the building that threaten to derail her mission. And so we are able to see these differences, these socioeconomic differences, and see the impact that they have with these people. And I feel like it's also kind of like a microcosm for our society as a whole, you know?
Sure.
But I think that what the show does well is that you have empathy for both sides of, of the spectrum, both people. And but yeah, I think, money isn't always all it's hyped up to be, and Elena will learn that, I think.
Yeah, thank you. And then I wanted to ask you, John, because your character he's slippery. I don't know what to think of him. I'm about 5 episodes in, and he's got a lot going. And I wonder if you would talk a little bit about his motivation and where you think he's coming from in trying to seek revenge on. I mean, I call it revenge. He wants money, but also I think a little bit of revenge on folks.
Yeah, he's got a couple different motives going on there, and it's hard to talk about it without giving away too many spoilers. But I think the interesting thing about Scott and a lot of the characters is they have these motives to get whatever it is they want to get, whether it's money or revenge or whatever it is. And I think at different points throughout the 10 episodes, as a spectator, you either agree with their motives and you support them, or you start to question it. And I think that's very applicable to real life, that it's not so one-sided. You have these good guys and the bad guys. You understand and you empathize with why they're doing what they want to do or what they want to achieve, but at the same time you're like, so it's a lot of, is it right what they're doing? Is it justifiable? Do the means justify these ends? And makes you ask questions along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And Aaliyah, your character, Ginny, is really, I mean, so far, she may surprise me, but so far she seems incredibly pure of heart and soul. And she seems to be the kind of anchor to the show's moral compass, at least so far. Ginny has this really sweet flirtation with Kim, and I'm only on episode 5. I tried to binge as much as I could, but I couldn't get further. So I don't know where this goes. But I think it's really very pure of heart and sweet and lovely. And I wonder if you would talk about just including this kind of normalization of, because there's also a non-binary character in this show, and it's all very normalized, which, it doesn't seem like it should be a big deal, but at this time, it really is a big deal to normalize seeing that on screen. And so I wonder if you would speak to that.
Absolutely. First of all, I love love. Okay. Love love. I love seeing romances develop and the push and the pull and the flirtation and the trepidation. I just love every single part of watching people fall in love. And I really hope that that's what's in store for Ginny and Kim. I think Ginny has a complicated history with love. Um, it's funny, there was a line that was there at one point, in an old draft that where Ginny says, like, "My mom says I like to be in love, but not be loved." And I think, when you're a person like that, love gets very, very complicated very fast, especially if emotions develop quickly. So, yeah, I really wanna see them shine together. I think they're a beautiful couple.
Yes.
Um, I think, something that our show has done great is just create a very normalized environment. Like you've said, we're not very showy about anything. These are real people um, uh, that exist in everyday life. We all know someone like this, and I think making that a part of our show is important because it's just real life. Why not show real life?
Thank you to Mariel, John, and Aaliyah for joining me. You can check them out in the Watchful Eye now on Freeform. Head to the Advocate Channel YouTube page for my full conversation with the rest of the cast. Artificial intelligence is now being used to take college exams as well as diagnosing conditions. Now, climate scientists are using artificial intelligence to better predict the future of global warming. Thanks to AI, scientists are now saying over the next 3 decades, the planet could cross critical global warming thresholds sooner than previous models have predicted. The study estimates that the planet could reach 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming above pre industrial levels in a decade, and that increases could top 2 degrees by mid century. The AI study's prediction is in line with previous models. The tech company BuzzFeed is using artificial intelligence to create content. BuzzFeed plans to work with ChatGPT to create quizzes and help with brainstorming, but they will not use AI when writing news stories. Media industry leaders say artificial intelligence will revolutionize the content creation businesses. Thank you for joining me on this Advocate today. For more content and coverage that advocates for you, head to theadvocatechannel.com. You can also watch my full interviews with experts and the biggest names in entertainment on the Advocate Channel YouTube page. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. I'll see you next time.